Talking at the coffee shop and people watching at the mall do not sound like areas where learning could take place, does it? However, I'm going to explain to you how in everyday life you are constantly learning through socializing. This is called the social learning theory, which was created by Bandura. The social learning theory explains the importance of observing and learning. Through observing and mimicking is how learners will retain information the best. Also, through observing the attitudes and emotional reactions of others, we are learning. Bandura says, learning would be exceedingly laborious, not to mention hazardous, if people had to rely solely on the effect of their own actions to inform them what to do. Fortunately, most human behavior is learned observationally through modeling. Observing others, one forms an idea of how new behaviors are performed and, on later occasions, this coded information serves as a guide for action. Bandura was born in a small hamlet in Alberta called Mundare. Here, he was the youngest of 6 siblings. He attended a very small elementary, junior high, and high school. The schools were so small and lacked teaching resources, so the students' learning was basically up to them. As some slacked, Bandura was intrigued by learning and really enjoyed it. He decided to continue his education by his own will, as well as the encouraging words of his parents. Bandura quotes, "My parents encouraged me to expand my experiences. They essentially presented me with 2 options. I could either remain in Mundare, till the farmland, play pool, and drink myself to oblivion in the beer parlor, or I might try to get a higher education. The latter option seemed more appealing to me." He attended the University of British Columbia, got his BA, then continued to the University of Iowa for his PhD. This is where he developed the social learning theory. Throughout his life, he received Distinguished Achievement Awards from the American Psychological Association and a Scientist Award from the California State Psychological Association. Also, Bandura was elected the president of the American Psychological Association. In 1977, he was known as the father of cognitive theory. The most prominent source of behavior modeling, according to Bandura, is aggression. If parents use aggression while dealing with difficult situations, the children will act in the same way. The most effective way to treat this is while the child is still young. If you try treating them some years later, the outcome will not be as effective. Bandura has written many books and articles which are still used in the psychological field today. Many books were targeted towards aggression in children and how this is the outcome of an aggressive parent. Bandura is also known for his baby doll experiment. What he did was have the children watch an aggressive attack on a plastic clown called the Bobo doll. After the video, the children were placed in a room with very nice toys, but they could not touch them. Due to this, the children became very angry and frustrated. Then the children were led to another room where there were identical toys used in the Bobo video. Bandura and many other researchers found that 88% of the children imitated the aggressive behavior. The social learning theory has 3 key principles. The first is that the highest level of observational learning is achieved by first organizing and rehearsing the modeled behavior. This can be done by coding modeled behavior into words, into labels, or images. This will result in better retention than simply observing. So, by repeating a task over and over again, learners will be much more likely to understand and remember the information. The second key principle is that individuals are more likely to adopt a modeled behavior if it results in outcomes they value, such as high marks on a test. The third is that individuals are more likely to adopt a model behavior if the person they are modeling is held in high importance to the learner. The desire to be like the model will enhance the learner's drive to learn the task. If you walked into a classroom and saw the social learning theory in effect, what you would see is a classroom which has lots of activity. Group work, peer editing, and brainstorming are very effective ways to encourage students to socialize, which in turn prompts students into bouncing ideas off one another to make new creative ideas. This also allows learners to teach themselves that learning can take place anywhere, not just in a classroom listening to a teacher. You can also learn from each other. Bandura's social learning theory has made people realize that learning takes place everywhere. I encourage all of you to take a moment when you are grocery shopping and talking with the clerk, or out to dinner and watching others at different tables, to think about the fact that you are not just talking and watching, you are learning. If you are interested in learning more about the social learning theory and Bandura, please visit the links below.